big teddy bear, man. He was so sweet. Now, he intimidating because he a big dude. But when you get to loving on him and squeezing on him, he is just a big teddy bear. He tried to work out every situation. He tried to make peace with everybody. That's why the world was so crushed when his life was, taken away so viciously. Like, everybody that knew him was like, man, no, that can't, not Big. Big tried to fix everything and love on everybody. He even made all his women try to be friends. Like, Biggie was like the teddy bear of our century, for real. I miss him and love him so much. He would have made such a difference in the rap game today, yo.
Now that Biggie's death is being discussed in the streets once more, the Brat is the one being highlighted for what she may have seen, since it turns out that she may have seen far more than she ever disclosed.
Landing, getting my page. I go to the, I'm looking at the news in the airport, and the Brat is sitting on the ground crying. I never forget that. Brat is sitting on the curb crying, and I'm like, what happened? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Right on the corner of Fairfax and Wilshire, right there. So I'm like, yo, because everybody was outside. Like, how could that happen? Because people couldn't get in the party too. It wasn't like it was everybody's in the party, nobody was outside. It was a lot of people outside, bro. So people saw it.
It was right there in the mix with Jermaine Dupri, making hits and rubbing shoulders with all the big names in the mid-1990s. Yes, including Biggie and the entire bad boy circle. The question is, did Brat see this? Did she leave in time? We know that in those days, DBDAT was one of the few women navigating that male-dominated, high-stakes hip-hop industry, and not just surviving but thriving. She worked with Big E, and the two of them collaborated on a notable song called The B-Side, which was featured on the soundtrack to the 1995 Bad Boys movie. Jermaine Dupri also had a close working relationship with both artists, and she has spoken about how Biggie admired the Brat and their mutual respect for each other's artistic endeavors in the hip-hop scene. Biggie also made an appearance in the remix video for the Brat song, Give It To You. In addition, the Brat also moved in the same circles as Diddy, and she had a front row seat to the chaos, the parties, the secret deals, and all of the off-record drama. Well, because of this, some folks believe she witnessed things that made her step back. But have you ever wondered why she never got pulled into the deeper mess that consumed so many others in that era? It's almost like she saw the storm coming and made a conscious choice to duck out of the way. But before she took a step back, there has been growing speculation that she may have known what happened to Biggie and how Diddy was involved. I mean, it's already been said a million times by different people that Biggie was planning to leave Bad Boy and Diddy, was not about to let him go without a fight. In fact, a lot of people have speculated that this may have been the major reason why he was taken out then, and that exposed that Rolling Stone did on Diddy. Several people said Biggie and Diddy were never on good terms, and he pressured Bad Boy employees to focus on marketing and album sales for Biggie's release. Life after death, after Biggie died, like he was not even grieving and was obsessed with the album being #1. Apparently, Diddy also still tried to steal Biggie's shine after his death, and there's an incident that was narrated by Kirk Burroughs claiming that Rolling Stone approached Bad Boy with the opportunity for Biggie's legacy, but instead, Diddy wanted the spot. Kirk said he was telling Diddy, "Let's make it Biggie, you still have a chance for a cover in the future." But Diddy replied, "No, no. Instead, I'm putting out Cole's debut album, Way Out, July. I need to be on the cover of Rolling Stone." This is how Diddy ended up on the cover of the magazine Puff Daddy, the New King of Hip Hop in 1997. The Rolling Stone article also mentioned that 2 years after the cover was published, Diddy spoke with them and acknowledged that Big Jeezing had brought him a lot of money, saying, "I think his passing added to the fame. It doesn't necessarily feel good to know that at least 2 million of the nearly 5 million copies of No Way Out sold were directly related to his death, but that's the truth." According to Kirk Burroughs' article, Diddy was jealous of Biggie's friendship with Tupac prior to their feud. Apparently, Diddy wanted a friendship with Pac, but Tupac wasn't interested because he didn't respect Diddy. In fact, it's assumed that Diddy started the beef, because Kirk also claimed that Diddy pushed Biggie to write beefy songs, even releasing Biggie's single Who Shot You in 1995, because he knew it would be taken as a jab at Tupac. Let's not forget that when Biggie's mom was alive, she always said that she was convinced the LAPD conspired to keep the details of what happened to her son hidden, and she actually talked very boldly about that belief. For instance, she previously said that the LAPD detectives who investigated the case know who is responsible for her son's death, but a conspiracy prevents the case from ever being solved. She said that she knew the LAPD did their investigation and found out what happened, but they just refused to move forward, and she didn't know why they never arrested who was involved. According to Valletta, she said it seemed to her that it was one giant conspiracy and someone was definitely being protected somewhere down the line. Other than this, she also talked about agreeing to be a part of the Project City of Lies, which centers around the corruption involved in suppressing the investigation. And she actually opened up more about the corruption involved and said, "I have a strong hope that I don't care if it takes 40 years for the truth, just for somebody to be accountable for what they did." High-ranking officials attempt to keep the case quiet and prevent the truth from coming to light because they don't want to expose these police officers for the crooks they are. All they wanted was to preserve their retirement. They didn't want to upset anyone, and they didn't want East Coasters to visit. She even stated that she had agreed to take part in the House of Lies, not only in honor of Biggie's music, but also in memory of Russell P., who passed away during the course of the investigation, saying, "I hope and pray that the truth will expose them individually." Russell died exposing them. He was a man of his word. His wife said he died of a broken heart because he didn't see justice. All he saw was corruption and pure lies. Everything was hidden. It also doesn't help because Zhang Deal and others expressly stated that Biggie's car was marked the day he was uncovered.
The thing about it is that it was somebody in our crew that wanted them to know that Big was in that vehicle. And to separate it, that's where you get there was more than one people trying to kill us. You understand?
You're right.
That's where you get that at, brother. That there was more than one, different people was trying to kill us. Because somebody wanted to know, yo, if y'all gonna get big, here go the car with the stickers on it.
Now what people are saying is that the Brat knew who was beefing with which calls were being made behind closed doors and how things shifted after.
A friend of mine was an amazing person. He was like a big teddy bear, one of the sweetest people that I knew. And what was amazing about him to me was when we would go in the studio together, because we have a song together called a B-side, and I'm on a couple of those remixes that he did. It's my voice in the background that Jermaine Dupri did. But he would go in the studio and he wouldn't write anything down. So when I was writing with him, I would have my pen and paper and I would just be writing, and I'd be ready with my verse thinking that he ain't working. I got him beat. I'm finna beat him and go in the studio and record before him. Little did I know he had already wrote it in his head. He was the first person that I saw that never wrote anything down. And I don't know how he did that, because he could smoke you under the table. So I'm like, how you smoke so much weed and can remember that and not use a pen and paper to write it down? So Biggie was an amazing person, very talented, and I'm happy to have known.
Allegedly, she knows some deep details about what Diddy did to people, but she's always been too scared to reveal what she saw, which is why she kind of pulled away. But if word on the street is anything to go by, the Brat could be gearing up to do some serious tea spilling, and fans are here for all of it. But on the other hand, we also have people saying that the Brat should be one of the last people to expose Diddy, because her past has also been very questionable. You all know about that incident involving a cheerleader for the Atlanta Falcons, right? The one who was working part-time as a waitress and hostess at Studio 72, a nightclub in Tucker owned by Jermaine Dupri, while working as a hostess at a private Halloween party. At the nightclub, the Brat jumped her. As a result, she received a 3-year prison sentence, followed by 7 years of probation and 200 hours of community service. And the Brat was also ordered to undergo substance treatment, a mental evaluation, and anger management classes. When the incident happened, the woman Shayla said that she was attempting to walk away from Dredit when Dat smashed a nearly full bottle of rum over her head. She further alleged that Jermaine Depri and his security personnel failed to remove Dredit from the club and failed to protect her from the Brat during the altercation. And as if that wasn't enough, Jermaine failed to seek appropriate and timely medical treatment for her or to report Dat to the authorities for fear of bad publicity for Studio 72. Now in a lawsuit, Shayla claimed blunt force trauma to the head resulting in brain damage. She also sustained severe lacerations to her head and face, which resulted in permanent scarring and nerve damage. She argued that in addition to medical treatment and pain and suffering, her career as a professional cheerleader and actress was cut short due to her facial disfigurement, resulting in a loss of income. I think the Brat has still yet to pay the money she was ordered to pay, which is around $8 million, up from the initial $4 million. Before this, there was another incident where the Brat was arrested after she reportedly got into a fight with a woman over VIP seats at a Georgia nightclub. At some point during the altercation, the Brat is said to have hit the woman over the head using a gun, and the woman was taken to the hospital and received 6 stitches on her head. The following year, the Brat pleaded guilty to reckless conduct, a misdemeanor, and was sentenced to 80 hours of community service, a $1,000 fine, and to spend a year on probation. So yeah, people have been saying that given her own past, maybe she should sit this one down anyway, regardless of what people may say about Dret. I personally can't get over the fact that she kind of just walked away from the circles and focused on her brand, her music, and eventually her media career. Some people are saying that wasn't just a personal evolution. It was strategic. It was survival, like she peeped the dirty business going on in Diddy's camp, saw the writing on the wall, and chose her own exit route because those who stayed too close to the fire. We all know how that turned out, so the real question is, was the Brat one of the lucky ones or one of the smart ones? And what would happen if she ever decided to tell her side of the story? Would she spill on what she knows about Biggie's On a Living? Would she confirm the rumors about what really went on behind the scenes and the bad boy empire, or is she just keeping silent for a reason? Well, like I said, word on the street is that she also plans to spill on what she knows. And as we wait, let me know what you think she may spill in the comments section down below.